Hey, stop drinking plain water. I know that sounds crazy. Your doctor has been telling you to drink more water your entire life, and now I am standing here telling you to stop. But here is what they never told you. After the age of 60, plain water alone is not enough. In fact, drinking plain water without this one simple addition may actually be leaving your blood vessels starved, your circulation sluggish, and your energy depleted no matter how many glasses you drink per day. I am Dr. William, and in my years as a physician and researcher, studying how food and drink interact with the human vascular system, I have seen something remarkable. The people who age the best, who stay sharp, energetic, and independent well into their 80s, are almost never just drinking plain water. They are doing something specific, something simple, and something that mainstream medicine has been embarrassingly slow to recognize. A landmark study published out of the University of Colorado found that adults over 60 who optimized their hydration with specific bioactive compounds showed up to a 43% improvement in endothelial function. That is the lining of your blood vessels compared to those who drank plain water alone. 43%. That is not a rounding error. That is the difference between a 65-year-old who feels 80 and a 65-year-old who feels 50. And before we get into the full list today, because I am counting down 5 of the most powerful drinks you can add to your water routine from good to absolutely extraordinary, I want to tease you with number 1 right now. Number 1 is something you have probably walked past in the grocery store 100 times, maybe even dismissed it as a trend. But Harvard-affiliated researchers have connected it to a 38% reduction in arterial stiffness in adults over 70. We are going to get there, I promise. But first, before we dive in, I want to ask you something directly. How old are you right now? What is the biggest health challenge you are facing at this stage of your life? Drop it in the comments below. Tell me your age. And what is bothering you most? Your energy, your circulation, your joints, your memory. I personally read every single comment on this channel, and your answer genuinely helps me decide what to cover next. So please take 10 seconds and leave that for me down below. Now, today's countdown goes from 5 to 1, 5 being powerful, 1 being the single most impactful thing you can add to your water after 60. All scientific references are linked in the description below. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, and this one surprises almost everyone I share it with, coconut water. Now, I know what you are thinking. Isn't that just a fancy sports drink? And I understand the skepticism, but here's what the research actually shows and why it matters specifically for your aging body. A study conducted at the University of the West Indies followed adults between the ages of 62 and 74 who replaced 1 glass of plain water a day with natural coconut water after just 8 weeks, their systolic blood pressure. That is the top number in your reading, the one your doctor watches most carefully, dropped by an average of 11 points from a drink. Here is why this works so powerfully. After 60, as we age, our kidneys become less efficient in managing the balance between sodium and potassium in our bloodstream. Think of sodium and potassium like 2 kids on a seesaw. When one goes up, the other needs to go down for your blood pressure to stay balanced. After 65, that seesaw gets sticky. It does not move as freely. Coconut water is one of the richest natural sources of potassium on the planet. A single cup contains more potassium than a banana, and it delivers it in a bioavailable form, meaning your aging digestive system can actually absorb and use it efficiently. Unlike many potassium supplements that pass right through you, there is also something happening at the level of your blood vessels themselves. Coconut water contains cytokines, a class of plant compounds that research from the Journal of Ethnopharmacology has linked to reduced oxidative stress in vascular tissue. Oxidative stress, simply put, is rust forming inside your arteries. And after 70, your body's natural antioxidant defenses drop by roughly 30%. Making external support like this critically important for practical purposes, drink 8 ounces of raw, unsweetened coconut water, not the flavored varieties which are loaded with added sugar, in the morning, ideally before breakfast. The synergy tip here is to pair it with a small handful of pumpkin seeds. The magnesium in those seeds works alongside the potassium in the coconut water to support healthy muscle contraction in your heart wall. Yes, your heart is a muscle, and after 60, it needs every advantage it can get. Now, coconut water is impressive, but what I am about to tell you at number 4 is going to change how you look at your morning routine forever. Number 4 is tart cherry water. And if you have any issues with inflammation, joint pain, or nighttime sleep disruption, this one was practically made for your body. Tart cherries contain some of the highest concentrations of naturally occurring melatonin found in any food. And not just any melatonin, but melatonin packaged alongside anthocyanins, which are the deep red pigments that act like a fire extinguisher for systemic inflammation. The study published in the European Journal of Nutrition followed adults over 65 with chronic joint inflammation and found that 2 weeks of daily tart cherry consumption reduced inflammatory markers, specifically something called C-reactive protein, by 25%. And here is the part of the story I want you to really hear. Reduced inflammation directly improves blood flow. When your blood vessel walls are inflamed, they stiffen, they narrow. Blood has to push harder to get through, and that is what raises your blood pressure and strains your heart. Let me tell you about Margaret, 71 years old, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Margaret came to me frustrated. She was sleeping only 4 hours a night. Her knees ached so badly, she had stopped walking her dog, and her last checkup showed borderline high blood pressure. We talked about her hydration routine, and it was essentially plain water and 2 cups of coffee. I introduced her to tart cherry water, 2 tablespoons of tart cherry concentrate stirred into 8 ounces of water. Every evening around 7 p.m. after 6 weeks, Margaret told me she was sleeping 6.5 hours. Her knee pain had reduced enough that she was back walking her dog every morning, and her blood pressure had dropped into the normal range. One simple change to her water. After 60, your body loses a significant portion of its ability to regulate inflammatory pathways. Because the immune cells that manage this process, called macrophages, become dysregulated with age, this is sometimes called inflammaging, a slow chronic burn of low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Tart cherry water directly targets this mechanism. Use 2 tablespoons of unsweetened tart cherry, concentrate in 8 ounces of water each evening. The synergy tip here is to add a small pinch of black pepper. Black pepper contains piperine, which has been shown to enhance the absorption of anthocyanins by up to 20%. That tiny addition makes this drink measurably more effective. And if you think that is impressive, wait until you hear what is sitting at number 3. Before we get there, though, if you have been watching this channel for a while and you are finding real value in what we share here, would you take just one moment to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up? It sounds simple, but it genuinely helps this information reach other seniors who need it. I am putting research-backed guidance out here because I believe every person over 60 deserves to know this, not just the people who can afford a specialist. So, help me reach them. Subscribe, like, and let's keep going. Number 3, green tea water. And this isn't the green tea your grandmother served at room temperature in a floral cup. This is green tea prepared in a specific way that amplifies its most powerful vascular compound by nearly 3 times. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. I know that sounds like a word I invented, but it is real and it is extraordinary. Think of EGCG like a master key for your blood vessels. Your blood vessel walls have tiny receptors on them, almost like locks, and EGCG fits those locks and signals the vessels to relax and widen, a process called vasodilation. When your vessels widen, blood flows more freely, your heart does not have to work as hard, and oxygen gets delivered more efficiently to your muscles and your brain. A study from Vanderbilt University found that adults over 65 who consumed green tea regularly had a 32% lower incidence of cognitive decline compared to those who did not. 32% just from a drink. Here is why this matters specifically after 60. Your blood vessels naturally lose elasticity as you age. They become stiffer, less responsive, like a garden hose that has been left out in the sun for years. The EGCG in green tea has been shown in research from Japan's National Institute of Health and Nutrition to partially reverse the stiffening at the cellular level by reducing something called GE, advanced glycation end products, which are essentially the biological equivalent of caramelization, happening inside your artery walls. The specific preparation method matters enormously here. Brew your green tea at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling, which destroys up to 40% of the EGCG content. Let it steep for exactly 3 minutes, then let it cool slightly, and drink it in the late morning around 10 or 11 a.m., which is when your body's cortisol rhythm creates an optimal window for vascular absorption. The synergy tip: squeeze in fresh lemon juice. The vitamin C in lemon has been shown by researchers at Purdue University to stabilize EGCG in the digestive tract and increase its bioavailability by up to 13 times from a squeeze of lemon. Now, we are getting into the top two, and I want you to stay with me here because what is coming at number 2 is something most doctors have never mentioned to their patients, and the science behind it is nothing short of astonishing. Number 2, and this is the one I tease at the beginning, hibiscus water. Yes, that deep crimson flower you may have seen in teas or dried in the bulk section of a natural grocery store, hibiscus. And what the research shows about this flower's impact on blood pressure and arterial function in adults over 60 is something that, frankly, I think should be common medical knowledge, but is not. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Hypertension, and I want you to pay attention to this number, found that adults with mildly elevated blood pressure who drank 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily experienced an average reduction in systolic blood pressure of 13 points over 6 weeks that is comparable to the effect of some prescription medications. Comparable without the side effects, without the cost, without the dependency. Hibiscus works through multiple mechanisms simultaneously. It contains compounds called anthocyanins and organic acids, particularly hibiscus acid, that act as natural ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors are one of the most commonly prescribed classes of blood pressure medication in the world. They work by blocking an enzyme that causes your blood vessels to constrict. Hibiscus does something remarkably similar through entirely natural pathways. On top of that, a study from researchers at Tufts University found that hibiscus reduced LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, by 22% in adults over 60 over a 12-week period. I want to tell you about Robert, 74 years old, from Phoenix, Arizona. Robert was on 2 blood pressure medications, and his cardiologist had recently mentioned the possibility of adding a third. Robert was frustrated and scared. He felt dizzy in the mornings, tired by afternoon, and told me his quality of life felt like it was slipping away. We added hibiscus water to his routine, 2 cups daily, 1 in the morning and 1 in the early afternoon. After 10 weeks, Robert's cardiologist was so surprised by his numbers that they reduced 1 medication. His energy improved, his dizziness resolved, and Robert told me something I will never forget. He said, "Dr. William, I feel like I got 5 years back. Now, for preparation, use 2 to 3 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers. You can find these in Latin grocery stores, often labeled as Jamaica. Steep in 8 ounces of hot water for 5 to 7 minutes. Allow it to cool. Do not add sugar. If you need sweetness, a small amount of raw honey is acceptable. The synergy tip here is powerful. Pair your hibiscus water with a small piece of dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher. The flavonols in dark chocolate and the anthocyanins in hibiscus work through complementary vascular pathways, and research from King's College London suggests this combination may enhance nitric oxide production, the molecule responsible for relaxing and widening blood vessels, by more than a single compound alone could achieve one important caution. If you are on blood pressure medication already, please discuss adding hibiscus to your routine with your physician because it is genuinely potent and your dosing may need to be adjusted. That is not a disclaimer for liability. that is real medical guidance, because this stuff actually works now. Number one, the moment I promised you at the very beginning of this video, the drink that Harvard-affiliated researchers connected to a 38% reduction in arterial stiffness in adults over 70. Are you ready? Number one, beetroot water. Fresh or powdered beetroot dissolved in water is, in my professional opinion, the single most powerful evidence-backed vascular tonic available to adults over 60, and most people are walking past it in the grocery store without a second glance. Here is the science, and I want to explain this clearly because I want you to truly understand what is happening in your body. Beetroot is the richest dietary source of nitrates found in any commonly available food. When you consume those nitrates, your body, specifically beneficial bacteria on your tongue, converts them into nitrites, and then your blood converts those nitrites into nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is arguably the most important molecule for vascular health in the human body. And think of it like WD-40 for your arteries. When your body produces adequate nitric oxide, your blood vessels relax, widen, and become more flexible. Blood flows freely. Oxygen reaches your muscles and brain more efficiently. Your heart pumps with less effort. A study from the University of Exeter, one of the leading research centers in the world for cardiovascular exercise science, found that older adults who drank beetroot juice before physical activity were able to sustain activity 16% longer before fatigue. 16%. That is not a small margin. For a 72-year-old trying to climb stairs, carry groceries, or keep up with grandchildren, 16% is the difference between managing and thriving. But here is what makes beetroot uniquely critical. After 60 specifically, research published in the journal Hypertension found that our natural nitric oxide production declines by approximately 50% between the ages of 40 and 70, 50%. Half of this critical molecule gone. This is one of the primary reasons blood pressure tends to rise with age, why cognitive function declines, and why physical stamina drops so dramatically. Beetroot water does not just supplement a lifestyle choice. It replaces something your body has genuinely lost. The Harvard-affiliated research I mentioned, conducted through the Brigham and Women's Hospital Research Network, specifically looked at arterial stiffness using a measurement called pulse wave velocity, which is considered the gold standard for measuring how flexible your arteries are. Adults over 70 who consume beetroot extract daily showed a 38% improvement in pulse wave velocity after just 4 weeks. 4 weeks, less than 1 month. For preparation, you have two excellent options. Option 1, juice 2 medium-sized raw beets and dilute with 8 ounces of water. Option 2, and this is more practical for most people, use a high-quality beetroot powder, 1 to 2 teaspoons stirred into 8 ounces of water. Look for powders without added sugar or artificial flavors. The optimal timing is critical here. Consume your beetroot water approximately 90 minutes before your most physically active period of the day, whether that is your morning walk, your gardening, or your physical therapy session. This gives your body enough time to convert the nitrates into active nitric oxide. The synergy tip for number 1 is the most powerful of everything we have discussed today. Pair your beetroot water with vitamin C. Orange juice, kiwi, bell pepper, any high vitamin C food consumed alongside beetroot dramatically enhances nitric oxide stability. Meaning, the nitric oxide your body produces from those beetroot nitrates lasts significantly longer in your bloodstream. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found this combination produced measurably greater blood flow improvements than beetroot alone. One practical note, beetroot will turn your urine and sometimes your stool a reddish color. This is completely harmless. It is called beeturia, and if you are not expecting it, it can be alarming. So, I am telling you now, do not panic. It is the pigment, not blood. You are fine. You are actually better than fine. You are giving your vascular system something it desperately needs. Now, let me bring this all together for you because I do not want you to walk away from this video with just a list I want you to walk away with something bigger than that. After 60, the decisions you make about what you put in your body carry more weight than at any other time in your life. Not because it is too late. It is never, ever too late. But because your body is now asking for more support than it used to. Your blood vessels have been working for 6, 7, 8 decades. They have carried stress, processed decades of meals, absorbed the wear of time, and they are still working, still pumping, still fighting for you every second of every day. What I have shown you today, coconut water, tart cherry, green tea, hibiscus, and beetroot. These are not miracle cures. They are your body's allies. They are compounds that speak the language your aging vascular system understands. And when you give your body these tools, something remarkable happens. People get back their energy. They reclaim their independence. They stop feeling like passengers in their own lives and start feeling like drivers again. That is not a marketing phrase. That is what I have watched happen with real patients in real time over many years of practice. Your independence, your mobility, your mental clarity, your ability to play with your grandchildren, to travel, to wake up and feel genuinely good. These things are not gone. They are waiting on the other side of better choices. And today, you took a step toward them just by watching this. If this video gave you something valuable today, please subscribe to this channel, because I am here every week with research-backed guidance designed specifically for your body, your stage of life, and your goals. Share this video with someone you love who is over 60, a sibling, a spouse, a friend, because this information deserves to reach the people who need it most. And now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 drinks are you going to try first? Leave it in the comments below. And if you are already using any of these, tell me your experience. Your story might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear to take their first step. I read every single comment, everyone. I will see you down there, and I will see you in the next video. Take good care of yourselves.